Greetings and akomo mai, fellow educators, and welcome to this week's episode of Enterprising Educators. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here, and today's topic deals with designing a user-friendly syllabus. Now, this might be something that you might not have given much thought to. It's one of those things that if you're like me, you have a big stack of compliance tasks that you have to do, and it's do a syllabus and then do 17 other trainings and blah 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 sorts of tasks. But I gotta tell you folks, designing a user-friendly, student-friendly, family-friendly syllabus can have extreme benefits that you might not even be aware of at the time, and that's why we're talking about it in today's episode. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, if you like what you see or you want to join the Enterprising Educators crew, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, if you have a topic you would like to discuss, or rather you would like me to make a video of, please let me know in the comments, and I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you about that. So with that in mind, I gotta come clean a little bit. The reason why we're doing this video is, again, a syllabus is something that not a lot, you don't think about it a lot until it becomes important. Case in point, I attended an AP Summer Institute this summer in Bellevue. I did it digitally, and I was doing continuing education, and I was asked to share my AP US History syllabus, one that I'm about to share with you folks. And the kinds of discussions that I had with colleagues there, made me realize that these are sorts of things, sorts of tricks of the trade that might be useful, especially to first-time educators, as you go out and start your glorious professions. So with that in mind, there are 4 prime directives that we're going to be talking about today. Prime directives. And with that said, we are going to teleport to my syllabus. If you would like this to be an attachment in the comments, I can put a link to it in the comments, or in the description rather, and we'll talk about how to construct a user-friendly syllabus. So let's energize. Okay, everybody, here we are. This is me back with you again. We're talking about AP US History here. So the first prime directive, and perhaps the most important directive, especially if you're doing an AP class, is to outline what you can and cannot control. So I do a little description here talking about the American experience from colonial times and even a little bit before to modern times, talking about covering 3 classes at the college sophomore level sequence, History 201, 202, and 203. Briefly explaining the test. I have a philosophy on AP in general that might become quite clear as you take a look at the syllabus. I'm looking forward to explaining that in future videos, but for the purposes of this video rather, this kind of T-chart is important because when I first started teaching AP US History, I had a lot of legitimate criticisms issued by, well, students and families for things that I could not take ownership of, or rather I had no control over during the course of the year because it's so embedded in the AP curriculum. So after the first couple years of teaching AP US History, I created this little T-chart here. Talks about the things we can and cannot control about AP US History. So attendance, that one's a given. We can't control that. You got to be there. What you can control, I added something extra there. The classroom climate that we have in my classroom is a lot of fun, and I try to sell that there. I'm looking forward to making some videos explaining how all of this unfolds. Let me know in the comments if you want that, and I can devote an entire series of videos to that very topic. Talking about very specific teach to the test, which I know is a dirty word in the profession of teaching, but you got to outline it. And then you're talking about what you can and cannot control in this kind of situation. This T-chart, more than anything else, makes it very clear to both students and parents that you are doing your best to make sure the experience is as positive for students as possible. It's not you being mean, especially if you teach AP. It's not you being mean. These are standards that are handed down from our College Board capitalist overlords. And you got to teach to them. If you want the kids to perform well, you got to do it. So that's the deal there. And as harsh as those directives might sound, this ties into the second directive, and that directive is use student-friendly language. I can get away with this because I teach in Portland, Oregon. So to the degree that you want, Directive 2 and Directive 3 deals with using humor. So try to empower students. Try to let them feel the same kind of positive energy you're exuding there. And Directive 3 talks about humor. Now, the humor part in this situation is very much a product of where I teach. I teach in Portland, Oregon. The jokes write themselves. And so I can get away with humor more than perhaps somebody else in a more conservative area. Nothing against those areas. It's just I have a lot of fun using humor and using student-friendly language here because I get empowered and energized by talking about saying to the students, rather, we can do this. This can be tough, especially if you're in an AP class. This is extremely tough, but we can do it together. If you level out and pour on the punitive language hard and thick, that does two things. That alienates a student and potentially alienates the parents, and that can cause a lot of headaches. Choke headaches, as they say in Pidgin English. Choke headaches. We don't want headaches. We don't want any pilikia. No pilikia. We want to go forward and build relationships and enhance relationships instead of potentially alienating them. You can't win them all, but these kinds of approaches make it ups your winning average. Let's just put it that way. Case in point, I had a student who took this very syllabus to his parents, and his mother happened to be a technical writer at the Boeing plant downtown, and apparently this syllabus left such an impact on that parent that, according to her, she came to parent-teacher conferences just to tell me how much she enjoyed reading it. And that's the sort of thing here, folks. She said she particularly liked the humor. That's why Directive 3 is here. Use humor appropriately. Defer to your own professional judgment as to how far you can go with the humor, but you can have some fun with it. And I still speak with that family. The student graduated 3 years ago, but I still speak to that family, and those are the kinds of relationships that happen. And all this began simply because I decided to take a would-be bureaucratic piece of documentation from my class and jazz it up and have a little bit of fun with it. So, with that said, going through the policies here, again, if you want to take a look at this in if you'd like a hard copy of this, as far as digital terms go, hard copy, please let me know in the comments and I can make this available in the description. Talking about all the different services you provide. Again, student-friendly language, having a lot of fun with basically selling the class to the students. And this ties into Directive 4 right here. We got the boilerplate stuff, you know, how grades work, cell phone policy. I'm planning on doing a complete video series on that. But let's take a look down at the end here. It's all about the adventure. If you try to sell your class as an adventure to your students, or in some other constructive way that is very, very much true to your own self, that's the linchpin there. A syllabus, folks, in addition to describing the class, can also serve as an advertisement for the class you're teaching. And as I've indicated in this video, it can go a couple different ways. The kinds of impressions you can make based off of a syllabus that works can be phenomenal. And again, you can form relationships with families that you still speak to on a regular basis. So with that in mind, let's beam back to the classroom, that is, the superposition. So energize. So ladies and gentlemen and fellow educators, that's what we have here. With that in mind, please let me know what you think about this. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this, and also hear from perhaps some veteran educators how you've developed your syllabi over the years, but that's the deal here. So with that in mind, folks, please let me know what you think about syllabus design. As always, if you have a topic you'd like me to address on this channel, please let me know in the comments below, and good luck in designing your syllabus. Transport. Hello again. Mahalo nui loa for watching that video. Don't forget to tune in every Teacher Tuesday for a new Enterprising Educators video, and if you have an idea for a new video, please let me know in the comments below. So, with that said, live long and prosper, e malama pono, and see you next time.